Good morning, welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy and this is my corner of the internet all about cross stitch. This is Flosstube number 49. It is week 41 of my year of 50 starts and today is October 19th. I'm filming this at, let's see, what time? 6:42 a.m. because I've got lots to do and so I couldn't sleep in. I thought about it. I almost didn't get up when the alarm went off. I didn't have to work today all weekend. In fact, I didn't have to work for 4 days in a row. It's MEA weekend, which is a big teacher education conference. It used to be a 2-day thing on Thursday and Friday. Now they've dropped it down to 1 day. It's free for all teachers. A lot of teachers go, a lot of teachers don't. Some teachers take it as mental health days, which is what I did. Excuse me. I just brushed my teeth before this started, and I thought, oh, I'll be good for a few minutes, and then my mouth wanted water. So, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. Please do the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I post next. Most of my floss tubes are unedited. I do a big edit on my Whip Parade, which I will do another one of those at the end of the year, and probably midway point again next year. So let's do some life updates. Life has been busy. So last time I talked to you, my husband and I were planning on going out for our anniversary, which we did. We ended up doing a double feature at the movies. We watched Good Boy. It's an independent horror movie about a dog in a haunted house trying to protect his owner. And it was shot with like 3 people in their house, and there was a couple of times it gave me really good jump scares. It also made me cry. And then we watched The Long Walk, which is an adaptation of a Stephen King story. It was really good. They did change the ending. I can see why they changed the ending. The original ending is a bit of a downer, and this one wasn't super uplifting, but it was more, less of a total downer than the actual ending of the story. I have finished 3 Shawshanks. I finished my third Shawshank on Thursday. Got it mailed out on Friday. One of the people canceled their order. They were tired of waiting. So the gentleman that I do them for, Scott, he said that he doesn't have one of these hanging in his prop room because he replicates movie props. And I think he has a collection of his own. And so he said I could just make it for him because he's already paid me for it. I don't think there's a rush on that one, so I'm going to not work on it exclusively. I have a plan on how I'm going to do that. Hopefully I can keep one on the go all the time so that I'm not having to rush and putting aside all my projects when I get a next one in. I'm getting more hours at Michael's. I am also just got confirmed that I'll be teaching night school, and this year it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this next week I have Michael's on Wednesday. It's mostly to deal with the holiday stuff that comes in on Wednesdays on the truck, because with the tariff situation fluctuating all the time, none of this stuff has prices on it because they can't determine the prices until they know the exact tariff. So we're having to hand ticket everything that comes in for Christmas and probably Valentine's Day too. So, excuse me. So I am getting some extra hours, or some more hours, which is nice paycheck wise. I was supposed to have a Stitchy meetup this weekend, but I was the only one listed as coming. I did send a notification to the group discussion that I was exercising my First Amendment rights yesterday. I went to the No Kings here in my city, and 7,010 people showed up. That is 1/10 of the population of the city. And almost all the reaction we got was supportive. My husband and I, if you've seen my Instagram, have seen that we did a Dungeon Crawler Carl inspired sign that says, "It's an outrage, Mungo is appalled." And he went with me this time, so that was kind of cool. It was the first time he had ever attended a protest. So yeah, it has been super busy. So I started donating plasma again. With everything else going on, I kind of took a break. We had a test. My husband had a test done on Thursday. We're waiting for the results. Should get them either tomorrow or Tuesday. I've got to make sure I've got all my his doctor's appointments, my time in request, update all my calendars so that I've got all my information on all my calendars. That's one of my tasks. In fact, I'm pretty good ahead on the task that I assigned myself for the MEA break to get caught up on some stuff around the house and other things. So that's good. Got a little thrown off with my intentions yesterday, but that's okay. I'm ahead of where I need to be for my homework for my class. So I'm just going to wait and finish that stuff next weekend. And then if I do the test that's right after these lessons, I will still be ahead in my homework. I'm trying to get a bit ahead because with night school, I know it's going to get crazy busy. And I'll probably end up taking at least one more class next semester for the college. So we're starting in January. I might have to do 2 because the program that allows me to take these classes for free runs out in the spring of 2027. So, and I need to have enough content to do my portfolio to get my science licensure, and I'm going to have to import all that stuff over summer break. So I will not have a relaxing summer. I won't be job hunting, which is more relaxing. But, so, that is the things going on in my life. Let's get on with the stitching. So I finished my 3rd Shawshank. I mailed that out on Friday, the 17th. And I have another finish. I was hoping to have an FFO for you. However, I could not find the brads that I was looking for yesterday. And after standing out in the really windy thing, I decided I was done and I needed to come home. So that's what we did. All right, so I finished Camp Crystal Lake by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this on April 5th, and I finished it on Friday? Yeah. Let me double check, make sure. Yep, I finished it on Friday. Here it is. So, it is all done. If you look really closely, maybe I can get it to sparkle. For all the blood drops, I did 817, which is the color of the letters mixed with blending filament, and then I substituted the darker red. I did 816 étoile, and so it is all done. And I have a specific idea on how I want to finish this, and I've mentioned it before. So I went to Walmart and I found this, and it doesn't have a hanger, so I'll have to staple in. I'm going to get some just rope, like hemp rope like you would use for floral stuff, the twine looking stuff, and I'm going to staple it on for a hanger. And what I want to do is I want to put it on here. Let's see if I can get it to like this, but with where you can see some of the wood. What I'm envisioning is that I would get it on here like this, and just a little bit of the wood will stick out. And I'm trying to figure out how to make sure it won't fray. Like this. And then I want to get some furniture tacks and do the corners to make it look like the sign's been nailed to the wood. And not much will stick out, admittedly, but I also kind of want to look like... So that's kind of what I'm envisioning. And then the tacks in the corner, and I would get it as close as I could and arrange it better. I'd trim it, and I think I'll do like the... You know when you get the little card kits in World of Cross Stitch, how you fray the edges? I just got to make sure I can figure out a way to make sure that that's not going to keep going. I have my double-sided roll of double-sided sticky tape. Where is it? Oh no. Thought it was up here, but thought it was over there, but that's just some extra hoops. And tack it down, and then the decorative tacks will they'll hold the corners, but it won't. But yeah, so my envision putting this on this and then hang it up. Maybe I'll put it back here somewhere so you can peek at it while I'm floss tubing. We don't have a lot of stuff on our walls. All right, so that is my finish. As I said, I was hoping to have it fully finished, but that didn't happen because I couldn't find the brads I wanted, and I want to make sure I have a vision, and I want to make sure that I am able to fulfill my vision. So I wasn't sure this next one whether to count it as a whip or a finish. I think I'm going to go finish for now because this is my piece for my round robin that I'm doing with the Stitching Connection 2025 hosted by Jason X Stitch. And I was the last one to finish, and so I think we're all ready to mail out ours now. So this is Water, or Elemental Dragons Water by Ink Stitches, or Ink Circles, not Ink Stitches. So there's a close-up. Get it back. It is on 32 count stream by Fiber on a Whim. So, my envision for this was I found colors that were the colors of real sea dragons in our oceans, or an approximation of. My thought was that each quadrant could have one. So these two main dragons here are Threadworks 01150. And then for this little guy here at the bottom, it took me a little while. I was debating. I did 01011 by Threadworks, and I did go over here, I did a second top stitch because with the variegation, the orange was just on these ends and this was the light blue, and you couldn't see his eyeball at all. So I went back over that just a little bit. I did this one in clockwise, and then I did this one counterclockwise. So I went around the edge and kind of worked my way into the center to get the variegation that I got. And then this one I just did him diagonally. For the sand and the base of the boat, I did DMC 3371. The seaweed here is Classic Colorworks Spinach, and for that one I folded the length in half, which I know you're not supposed to do with variegated thread for most people, but I wanted a more subtle variegation so it looked more like seaweed. And then I did like I went typewriter, but I did it serpentine, so left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left, back and forth. For the coral here, that's Colaris from DMC 4517, and for the fish, I did Colaris 4215 to kind of give them. I was trying to make it look so like maybe the coral, the fish and stuff could actually hide, so their colors would kind of blend in with it. And then for the water at the base of the boat and the two little water bubbles, I did Mediterranean Sea from Gentle Arts. So that is that. And then I have this color and two more. My idea is that each person that's working on a quadrant will pick a majority, a color that they would like to stitch the major dragons in. And I would like the sand to be consistent and the seaweed to be consistent. But other than that, and the watercolor. But other than that, they can kind of pick and choose. Oh, excuse me. It's really dry in my apartment here today, apparently. So then they can choose which colors they would like to do and how they would like to manipulate the thread to get the effect that they want. One of the reasons I did this guy in a different color was hoping that it might help tie everything together, because some of the colors don't go together as well as a combo. So that is this. So technically it's finished for me. I won't stitch anymore on this. I will be sending this off to the first person, which I believe is Meg in my group, and then I will be getting somebody else's project to work on. So there we go. I was very excited. I posted this on Instagram last night, and Ink Circles actually responded and said they love the colors, which is very exciting when the designer tells you that they love your choices for their piece, because this is intended to be monochromatic. And now I'm probably going to have to go and get the rest of these so I can have the full set. And then pick an appropriate fabric color this is water, so I got it on water. So then I'll have to find something for earth, air, and fire. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, so I got that done. Then I actually had time. It was so nice to finish my Shawshanks because I decided that I was going to kind of take this weekend off and just do fun projects that I haven't gotten to do. So it looks like I'm gonna get my weekly Stitches for Fandom done. And they've got a new pop-up that I'm excited about that I'm hoping I can get in with everything else. I do know I have 2 nights this week that I won't be stitching. I work at Michael's on Wednesday till close, and then I have open house. So Thursday I've got to take my husband to the doctor, run back, and then drop him off, and then go to open house. So I worked on Storybook Halloween Sal from 2021 by Stitch Onemy. I started this on July 5th of 2023. The last time you saw it, I was here, but I hadn't done the background stitches. So I added a little bit more of the frame and most of these 2 kitties. And this is actually one of the things I'm doing for my Monsters, Villains, and Ghost pop-up for Fandom. So it is on 14 count oatmeal Ada, a 12-3-10. I did the frame in a 12-3-10. I've been debating this. So down the spine of the book, it says All Hallows Eve 2021 on the pattern. I was thinking about changing it to the year that I finished, but she does a Halloween Sal kind of like this every year, and I thought that might be confusing. So yeah, there's my Raven. He's one of my favorites. But yeah, so I got this all in, this whole border section. I got that back. And then the kitties. And I actually have another 100 stitches planned to do on this for the pop-up. So it's super cute. It's not really my style anymore, but it was like the first Sal I downloaded, even though I didn't start it right away. So I want to finish it. Excuse me. I promise I don't smoke. I know right now my voice sounds like I do. And then I've got 2 more prompts to work on after I show you the one that I worked on last night. And the prompt for this one for this week was something that can be hunted. So I am working on, I started Reindeer Roundup by Joan Elliott on August 13th. This is like my only Christmas project on the go. This is actually the reindeer's head. I know it's a little hard to see. This is on 14 count navy with snow by Fabric Flair. It's a printed fabric. Show you the butt. There you go. I'll show you the back of my reindeer too. I don't really worry about the backs as long as the thread doesn't show through the front. I don't carry too far more because I think it's wasteful for the thread and wasteful of my money. So here is what that one looks like. Ooh, let me do Audrey's trick. So I am working on this reindeer right here. So this is all supposed to be beads, and I'm still going to put beads on it. I don't know if I'll put as many beads, but I might, just because I think it would look cool to have some of the stuff be sparkly. So this is what it'll look like. And something that could be hunted. And people do hunt reindeer. The Inuits still eat reindeer, so... And I'm sure there are tours that go up there to shoot them for fun, which you shouldn't trophy hunt. But hunting for food, I don't have a problem with. So there is our little reindeer. And let's see. I'm always trying to determine whether you can see, like, underneath the actual dark part of the stitching, whether you can tell where the printed snow is. I think you can. I think there's one right there. But I think that's okay because it'll just maybe hint that there's snow on top of them because it's a lighter spot. So that's okay. So that was my third one. The next 2 things I have to work on for weekly prompts are What Lies Beneath and what was the other one? What Lies Beneath and Halloween Quaker. So that is my progress. I'm so excited to have something to show you besides the Shawshank sampler. I will be, as I said, tomorrow My plan, well, I'm getting into plans anyway. So I'm going to fully finish Camp Crystal Lake as soon as I get the brads that I'm looking for. I've got to mail off my round robin. I'm going to throw a couple of things in there with that. I want to catch up on my Whip Go calls and count down to year 7 for Frogwarts. The FFOing Camp Crystal Lake actually will finish up one of my Whip Go calls for this month. So the monster villain ghost event for fandom started yesterday. So there's 3 options. You can do 3 unique projects, 6 unique projects, or 9 unique projects. And you could do 1 category, 2 categories, or all 3. So I decided I'm going to try to do all 3. It's only 100 stitches per category, and it'll let me touch some more projects. And I did 400 plus stitches on the water dragons yesterday because I had it for 2 prompts for this week. And then I did 800 stitches yesterday. Yeah. Plus a little bit more on the waters just to finish it off. I have to count up the rest of those because I did some stitches earlier in the month for that and I just didn't count them. So I have to count that before I mail it off. So from the monsters category, I picked Supernatural Sal by the Witchy Stitcher, What Lies Beneath, because the giant kraken counts as a monster, and Dragons of the Sabbat, because they're counting dragons as monsters in this case. For villains, I'm doing my Overlook Sal, because it's got Jack, and the Overlook Hotel itself is a villain. So it, Pennywise, of course, and then Frogwarts Year 3, because it's got a Dementor, and they're pretty evil. And then for Ghost, my Halloween Quaker, Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, and I'm going to put in another 100 stitches in my storybook Halloween because there's a ghost in there too. And then you can do a bonus pattern where you get points for stitches up to 1,000 points. And I'm going to work on my Halloween fairy because it is getting very close to being done. So that's kind of my plans. I still need to do like 4 days on Wisdom, 2 days on Cliffhanger for my Whip Goes that I'm behind on. But I have, and coming up next month, I have a science conference that the district's paying for me to go to. So I'm excited about that. That'll be helpful for me teaching science. And then Thanksgiving, and it'll be just me and my husband for Thanksgiving because the kid and the son-in-law are going to, they have a family cabin. His family has a cabin. And this will be the last time they can use it. I think the person who actually owns it, selling it off, or the person who owned it in the family is passed away and the kids don't want to keep it or whatever, or can't afford, I don't know. But anyway, it's the last chance they get to use this cabin. So they're going to go there and we're going to get them for Christmas again. So I'm going to try to get some of that done. I have missed stitching on stuff for fun. I like stitching, and my husband's like, what does it matter what color it is? It's the same thing. And I'm like, it makes a difference after a little while. But that's okay. So I only have one shout out. I've gotten through, oh, sorry, that was my hand hitting my notebook in my lap. I've gotten through almost all of my Flosstube subscriptions. I'm in the last 10 of them that I haven't watched. I do have one shout out for you this time. I'm finding that I don't really like watching just one episode of somebody. I don't feel like I get a chance to know them and really get a feel for their projects. The whip parades, if the only thing you watch is a whip parade, you get a feel for their projects. But I have a hard time remembering enough details about people to share if I've only watched one episode. So it's, I want to take a little bit more time with people. But I do have Uplift Stitches, and I know a lot of you probably already know them. This is Melanie and Michael. They have some great projects. He does a lot of Halloween, which is right up my alley. They're very funny, and Michael is planning to host a SAL next year. And it is a D&D character creation SAL, which I'm really curious about because I play D&D. We have played D&D. We're playing off-brand D&D for our next campaign. Well, we're going to finish up our Deadlands campaign, and then my husband's actually inventing his own world and using the format and the system for role-playing that we're using for Deadlands. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I got a waddle. Oh well, part of getting old, right? So that'll be fun. I actually paused Willet cross stitch. I was halfway through his first video that I'm watching to film this, and I'll finish watching it after and grade papers. That's one of the nice things about grading. When I'm doing homework, I can't watch Flosstube, but like if I'm doing basic grading and stuff like prepping my slideshows, I can do Flosstube while I do my work, so that's kind of nice. Unless it's an essay where I have to actually pay attention to what they wrote and not just something I can check real fast. But it is a little bit easier to grade when I have nice background noise. All right, so that is all the stitching stuff. The only haul I had was the background frame wood thing for Camp Crystal Lake. I was hoping my Just Cross Stitch magazine would get in the mail yesterday, but it didn't. So I have a feeling mail's going to be really slow because I think they're working and not getting paid. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I stayed up way past my bedtime last night, and I'm about to share with you why. So, books and movies. We finished the Eye of the Bedlam Bride by Matt Dinniman, the one of the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, last night. And so I still highly recommend those. I was trying not to drink soda on camera, but when my throat's like this, the carbonation is the only thing that seems to break it up so I don't get scratchy throat. I also finished another book called Tress of the Emerald Sea. It's by Brandon Sanderson. It's part of the Cosmere universe, and apparently it was inspired by The Princess Bride, about the girl that her partner goes off and to find his fortune. In this case, his dad was dragging him off to be married because he realized he was in love with a peasant girl. And instead of wallowing in depression in her farmhouse, she decides to go after him and try to rescue him. And she's just a regular girl, and yeah, so it was a fun, interesting book. It took some tropes and turned them on their side, at least, if not upside down. But, Brandon Sanderson's fun to read. He's got a good style. And the narrator made jokes and talked to the audience directly. So that was fun, too. I like a good book with a little bit of humor thrown in. So those were the main things I've read. We had watched Carrie. So I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I was like, oh, I know this is different than books. So now I have checked out Carrie on audiobook from my library. And I am reading that. And there are some things they got really close. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I went to bed at midnight and got up at 5 a.m. or 5:15 because I wanted to get my Flosstube filmed, and I have grading to do, and I have some cleaning that I want to get done before work starts back up, and I want to get some stitching in. So to do all the things that I have time to do, I have to take sleep deprivation sometimes. All right, so I think mentioned last time we've started watching Svengoolie. So last week it was them and then Arachnophobia. I went to bed before Arachnophobia because I had to work the next morning. But since I didn't have to work today, I stayed up late to watch both of the Svengoolie movies. So Svengoolie is a horror host comedy, and then they have House of Svengoolie, which is 3 people. I really like the Gwengoolie, who's like a female undead lady. And then Nostalgia Faratu, which is like a Nosferatu type vampire. But and Out of Makeup, he hosts a kid morning show on MeTV. So it's like a cartoon show. He hosts and curates cartoons for kids. without his makeup on. So they just did a commercial for his Saturday morning TV show where he was interviewing himself. So as now just Ferratu, he was interviewing himself for the kiddie show, the morning cartoon show. All right, and so last night they showed Young Frankenstein, which is one of my favorites, and the original 1930s Frankenstein, which was super fun. We did Joe Bob first. Yeah, well, I think I talked about that one because that was the first Friday of the month. So, again, so sorry. This is what happens when you only get 5 hours sleep. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. They give you little tidbits and factoids. Lots of lame jokes in between. What else have we watched? I can't even think of all the things that we've watched. We've been going through Stargate again when we need something to put on, but we don't want to listen to, but my husband wants to focus more on his game, his video game. So, he'll be playing his video game. I'll be like working on school stuff, like grading papers or whatever, or stitching, and we'll have Stargate on to have some background noise while he plays his video game. And if you are a sci-fi fan and you have not watched Stargate, I highly recommend it. I think it is probably one of the most underrated sci-fi shows. Like everybody knows Star Trek, everybody knows Star Wars, but Stargate is so consistently good, and they had like crazy access. An episode we watched this weekend, they had the actual Secretary of Defense come on as himself in his role as Secretary of Defense, come to the Cheyenne Mountain, which is a real base, where they actually do real military stuff. Like they actually have a base there. And he was playing himself and like acting in his role as Secretary of Defense like he would if it was a real situation. And it was crazy. So yeah, but I really like it. It's got Amanda Tapping as Samantha Carter. We've got Richard Dean Anderson as Colonel Jack O'Neill. You've got Daniel Jackson. I can't remember the name of the guy who plays him. You've got Teal'c. Can't remember his name at the moment either. But if you are a sci-fi person and you have not watched Stargate, I highly recommend it. We're getting to the part where Stargate Atlantis is going to be spinning off, which is also good. That was Jason Momoa's first big TV role, and that's kind of where he got his breakout role and where he started getting movies and stuff. And so I had a crush on Jason Momoa way back when. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, do. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm kind of rambling at this point. Let me know what you were working on, if you've got any plans, if you're stitching any of the same things as I am. I hope you had a great 2 weeks. I hope the next 2 weeks are great. And so long, and thanks for all the stitch. Bye.